Hello, good morning. We are here. It's Friday. It is time for our goal setting live stream. I am just getting the last little bits set up. I have my coffee. I have our plan for the day. I'm super stoked. I am super excited as always to get started. So, hello. Hi, how are you? I am Terrell, and this is Absolutely Studying. Here we talk about goal setting, organizational hacks, and homework help to help you get through the study struggle, to help you stay on track, to help you get and set and achieve those goals. So if you are interested, hit subscribe. We are going to be getting into doing a little bit of goal setting. And we are also going to be getting into some stuff about the Pomodoro Technique. So let's talk with the Pomodoro get onto the Pomodoro Technique, get that out of the way, and then we can chat about some goals. So let me just share my screen and we will get started. Alrighty. No, don't do all of the things. So we are, I'm like, what? Why are we watching ourselves? No, we're not watching ourselves. What we are watching is this article, because of course I have it pulled up. What is the Pomodoro Technique and why is it such an amazing study tool? So this time management strategy will actually boost your focus and your productivity. Yes, that's exactly what we need. This is a study planner. If you need to get this study guide, tracker, and planner, you can hit the link in the description below and download it. It's free. No worries about that. Okay, we got our coffee. Let's get started. So the hardest part of studying for me has always been focus. I've always found holding my focus, especially for several hours, incredibly difficult. I have the attention span of a squirrel. I'm often thinking about 2 or 3 different things all at once. Hold on. We have to do something. There we go. As I read my textbook, I need to consciously fight the effort to phone a friend, create my shopping list, and recount any awkward conversations I found myself in the day before. Having to fight off all of these intrusive thoughts is exhausting. Trying to retain the information I'm reading while living through this multitasking is sometimes impossible. One system that I have found to be incredibly helpful is the Pomodoro Technique. This is because it breaks up my effort into short, digestible pieces. When I first tried the Pomodoro Technique, I admit I found it very frustrating. I felt the focus intervals were not long enough, and I could still continue to focus past the short 25-minute blocks. I found the breaks intrusive. I was constantly taking downtime rather than working, which added to the guilt of not studying enough. I heard so many times that the Pomodoro Technique is really helpful, and I wanted to stick it through and persist. I wanted to see what these benefits were, so I kept with it. Once I learned to trust the process, the benefits were finally revealed. Overall, I could focus for hours longer than my traditional study methods. Instead of tapping out after a few hours, I could study all day if needed. I could also bounce back and still have the ability to focus the following day for just as many hours. Many times after marathon study sessions, I found that I would almost have a focus hangover the following day. I would feel groggy and exhausted as if I had sprained my brain. I would not be able to spend long periods studying, focusing, or working. This was an obvious problem. I could not sacrifice one study marathon for days and days and days of distraction. When I started using the Pomodoro method, I had no problem focusing the following day. I would still be able to concentrate, study, carry on as usual, and even partake in a second marathon study session, provided I continued to take frequent breaks. The short 25-minute intervals allowed me to concentrate deeper. I felt more willing to turn off notifications on my phone and purge anxious thoughts. I found that writing down my nervous feelings allowed me to put these intrusive notions out of my mind. I could then address them during the 5-minute breaks. I cannot tell you how crucial the Pomodoro technique is, not only to my study sessions, but even in my business. In this article, I am breaking down exactly what the Pomodoro technique is and why it's so effective for studying, how it works, and the benefits of the Pomodoro technique in relation to ADHD. If you struggle to find more effective study habits, check out my free planner. It has everything you need to create a comprehensive study guide for any exam or the entire semester. Even if it, it even comes with a Pomodoro planner to make the most out of every single study session. You can download it here on the article. There are links to the complete article down in the description, and there should also be a link to the study planner. Okay, so what exactly is the Pomodoro technique? The Pomodoro technique is a chunking method intended to optimize productivity and time management while minimizing burnout. The technique allows for 4 study sessions of intense focus over a 2-hour period. So there are 4 periods to get things done within this time, with scheduled breaks in between. Each of these 25-minute blocks of active time is designed to maintain extreme focus. The first 3 periods are broken up by a 5-minute break to rest fully and step away from your desk. The fourth 25-minute interval is followed by an extended 20-minute break before the timer ultimately resets again. These sessions are the ideal amount of time to completely lose yourself in deep focus and productivity. At first, the breaks might seem like they come a little bit too often, but as you continue to use this strategy, you'll find that you are progressing through your work quicker while staying focused longer and more intensely during these periods. The next day, you don't have that extra tired, burnt out feeling that you usually do after spending an entire day studying. When you have a ton of work, layering these 2-hour sessions one after the other can help you plow through it. Because you're taking such frequent breaks, it allows you to extend your ability to focus as long as you want. This is not simply limited to studying. You can implement the Pomodoro technique while working on projects or assignments like essays or term papers. They can also be used for structuring and organizing your time in general. Assigning any task you need to accomplish to one or more of these 25-minute focus intervals to exercise complete control over your time and productivity. So that's basically just saying that you're focusing super, super intently for 25 minutes. You're setting a timer, an actual timer with a beeper on it so that you can completely disconnect from all of your electronics, from anything that is an outside sense. And you are just focusing on this project, on this task for the 25-minute focus block. After that, you have a break. So if you are nervous about missing any notifications on your phone, you can answer them. 20 minutes generally is not a too long of a time that you can step away and ignore or not answer or not respond to a text message or a notification on your phone or an email because you were focusing. So you can give all of your effort into this task for 25 minutes. You will get it done so much quicker. And then when you step away, you can actually address all of those other things, or you can just take a break and allow yourself to step away from your desk and do something else. So why is the Pomodoro technique effective for studying? Why is taking all of these breaks and structuring this study session or this work or these focus sessions so intently? Why is the structure so important? The Pomodoro technique is effective because it's realistic. The short focus intervals are enough time for you to complete a task without exhausting your brain. You can pay attention to the task at hand and turn off all distractions for 25 minutes. This is doable, even for the most motivation challenged of us. It's also great for task management. Creating a list of tasks ranging anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes, then working through them in these blocks is not as intimidating as sitting down with a pile of books. You can create a game plan for 25 minutes. You can commit to 25 minutes. This is not scary or unimaginable. Take the session, study session, one focus interval at a time, and plug away at your list. You can also implement this strategy in any aspect of your life. The Pomodoro Technique can work to get nearly any task list done. The positive reinforcement of the short breaks works as incentive to tackle that to-do list. It also works as an easy productivity cycle, allowing you to move around and juggle different tasks without committing to any of them. I often use my 5-minute breaks to do quick chores I'm generally uninspired to complete. Sometimes it will be cleaning off my desk or sorting piles or even doing laundry. I may not want to tackle these tasks head on, but I'm willing to do them for 5 minutes. These tasks also have the added reward of walking away from my desk for a few minutes, which allows my brain to rest when it needs. So walking away from your desk and doing these tasks, these chores, when I do these chores, a lot of the time there is a secret hidden benefit to doing laundry or me picking up the chores. And that is, first of all, a small win because it does clear off a counter and free up the physical space so that the physical space does not clutter my mind. The second step is that these tasks are making me move. I'm moving my body, I'm moving my hands, and that will get your heart pumping. It will get you breathing. It will get your blood flowing. And what does that mean? That means your blood is pumping extra oxygen to your brain. That extra oxygen in your brain is also going to help you to focus harder. It's going to help you to think straighter and come up with better answers to questions and such. So that's the oxygen in your brain is going to be really helpful to being able to synthesize and study and analyze the information and focus better. Like all of these different benefits are coming from getting up, walking downstairs, and clearing off the counter, even though it seems like a chore. Now, cleaning the kitchen, cleaning any part of the house, doing laundry, not my favorite things. I don't want to do them, but usually a 5-minute spurt, I can get myself to do that. I will say, okay, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to get myself a drink. I'm going to use the restroom. And then for whatever time I have left, I'm just going to focus on this one task. So I'm going to clear off this one surface, or I'm going to throw a load of laundry into the washing machine. And then, 30 minutes later, 25 minutes later, that load of laundry should be done so I can pop it into the dryer. So little tasks like that, I'm not focusing on doing laundry and cleaning my house all day. Instead, I am finding these 5-minute pockets of time where I'm already in the middle of something, but I can get up, walk away from my desk, and go and get another thing done so that by the time I'm done studying, I've cleaned the kitchen, I've done 3 loads of laundry, and I've studied an entire chapter. And it just makes you feel so great for the day because you've already accomplished so much. So that is why, for me, trying to use those 5 minutes to, even if I don't leave my office and I just vacuum for those 5 minutes, I vacuum my floor or I, empty out the garbage in my office. Even those 5-minute spurts where I can just do tasks that I'm not crazy about gets me away from the work material. It gets me out there. It allows me to disengage, like turn off my brain for a minute because it doesn't take a whole lot of deep thought to empty a garbage or to clear off a counter. And it allows me to just dissociate and daydream and get a little task done. So now, if we needed any more benefits, we're actually going to hop into those benefits of taking on the Pomodoro technique. So I did want to touch on the Pomodoro technique and ADHD to begin with. So the rotation between focus and rest can be extremely helpful to students with ADHD. When simply sitting still for prolonged periods of time is a challenge, taking frequent breaks can help regulate students' restlessness. Creating a schedule or a list of tasks to tackle during each focus interval will keep your attention fresh for 25 minutes. This means that you will do something different every time you sit down to do a study activity. This can also help to keep you engaged and concentrate easier because you're not growing bored with the same activities. You don't have to oscillate between activities. You don't just have to oscillate between activities. Switch up subjects often. Spend no more than 1 hour on a topic before moving on to another. Return after you have had a break from it if there's still a lot to do. You can also mix the strategy up with positive reinforcement rewards. These things will keep the study session fresh and more engaging for the neurodivergent brain. So that could mean say you are doing chemistry. So you spend one 25-minute block working on flashcards that will help you memorize the multiplication, or not the periodic table. So now on your next 25-minute break, switch it up. Instead of doing flashcards, maybe you are reading or highlighting notes in your chemistry textbook. But after that 25-minute block, switch it up to a different subject. Try reading for English class, or you can try writing out some biology notes. Switching up and oscillating between different study activities and different subjects is going to help with the ADHD brain and neurodivergent brains because it is giving you something new every single time you sit down so that you're not doing the same thing all day. And that doesn't mean that you're done after that 25-minute session. That means mark your spot, see how far you've come, and then if you're studying all day, for example, say you are setting aside 6 hours to study, every hour rotate through a subject or rotate through a different topic so that you are switching up not only activities, but subjects. And that's going to help you to encourage you to pay attention longer because you're not over bombarding your brain with the same information all day and the same subjects all day. You're switching them up. So maybe you do study the periodic table for 3 hours over the course of the day, but you have broken it up into 3 different activities over the course of several hours while switching up the different subjects as well. So in that way, you are able to stay focused on the subject. You're able to stay focused on the activity because you're not wearing it out. The Pomodoro Technique improves the quality and quantity of work. So when you first start using the Pomodoro techniques, it does feel like you're wasting time. When you're used to sitting still for long, extended study periods, they really do seem to end too soon. The 25-minute blocks are measured as such because they are the perfect amount of time to spend in intense focus and stop before your brain gets tired and begins to wander. So just as a pause there, this is linked in science. So if you do visit the full article, which again is linked in the description, you can see all of my references rather than listing them all at the bottom of the YouTube video without context. I do prefer to have them actually linked to the article so that if you have a question about a specific fact, you can check that where that fact is derived from right in the article. So again, sources are linked in the article. Article is linked in the description. If you have a question about any of the sources, you are welcome to go and check them out. Maintaining focus during this entire block will train your brain to stay on task. You will have fewer instances of your mind straying over the whole 2-hour period, allowing it to be much more attentive to detail. The quality of your work will be higher because you can maintain dedication to excellence, then rest before fatigue or disinterest creeps in. Instead of rushing through a section or pushing yourself to the limits, your breaks are scheduled. There is always one just around the corner to reward you for paying close attention. This way, you can stay focused on the details and break before your standards start to slip. Getting started with the Pomodoro technique is simple. There is a tomato timer by Toptal. It's linked here if you ever want to try it. It will track your focus intervals and record your progress so you can just focus on studying. It is fully customizable to your preferences and even has easy to use keyboard shortcuts. So with that, when you are just starting with the Pomodoro technique, you are going to take a little bit of training. For me, for example, if you are used to having these marathon study sessions where you just focus over and over and try and focus as long as possible until you exhaust yourself, so you're focusing for 2 or 3 hours before trying to take a break, then stopping short of that, stopping at 25 minutes is going to be hard, and you have to train yourself to do that. But again, that's going to refresh your focus. And then when you come back, it's going to extend those high standards you have when you first sit down studying, rather than how your standards start to slip after about 2 or 3 hours of focusing too hard when your brain is just exhausted and doesn't want to work anymore. On the other end, if you do have an incredibly short attention span, working up to the 25 minutes is going to take a little bit of training too. So if you're used to only being able to focus hard for 5 minutes, then work your way up. Put in that focus for 5 minutes and then try and stretch it to 10. Put in that focus to 10 minutes and then try and stretch it to 15. So stretch those focus sessions, however it is, whether you are giving yourself a reward to get to that 25 minutes, whether you are, taking short, 2-minute breaks throughout that so that you can rest for a minute and get back there. But trying to build yourself up to those 25 minutes, if you can't focus for 25 minutes, is also really going to help. And that is generally with some of the neurodivergent students, where they can have that super, super deep focus for the first 5 or 10 minutes, but then they kind of start to waver. That's okay. It just takes some training. But again, once you get up to that 25 minutes, then you will find that that is a really great kind of chunk to be able to focus for, and you'll be able to get a measurable amount of work done. Using the Pomodoro Technique timer increases willpower and accountability. So willpower and self-discipline are something that we all struggle with. It can be tough to force yourself to start a project or sit down and study when you know you have so much to do. Sometimes you can't motivate yourself to do anything more than watching some YouTube videos. These 25-minute focus sessions can help with willpower because they are so short. Telling yourself, I only have to do this for 25 minutes, then I can take a break, is sometimes enough to get you started. Try to pick a simple activity like reading through your notes for the first 25-minute block. This is like dipping your toe in and will get you started without too much distress. Make sure to hold yourself accountable for maintaining your focus for that entire block. After this, you get a break. Convincing yourself to do something for 25 minutes is much easier than convincing yourself to commit to sitting down for 2 hours of uninterrupted focus, especially when your brain is exhausted and you just don't think you can do it. The Pomodoro technique, that is again, it is easier to have willpower or motivation to do something for little short snippets. And this is just an example of this. Try to pick something easy like reading your notes for 25 minutes. It can even be something as simple as spending that first 25 minutes writing down your list of all of the things you need to accomplish in detail and writing the amount of time it's going to take beside it. So say you're going to skim your textbook, you set aside 5 minutes for that. Say that you have several different chapters that you have to read, writing out how much time you're going to spend on each step of your reading strategy, and then assigning a time to it is something you can do for your first 25 minute. Then you have your 5-minute break. And then now for your second 25-minute break, if you're still not too motivated to work, you can start by just knocking out all of those 5-minute tasks. And then you can slowly start going through that task list and picking things that you hate doing the least. And so in that way, you are doing little tiny tasks that are still getting you towards your goal, getting you to get those things finished. But instead of forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. You're easing yourself into the work. And that pertains to the 3 little wins strategy. So as you see these little tiny wins popping up, as you see yourself crossing items off the to-do list, even though they're easy ones and progress being made, it's going to be easier for you to tackle larger and larger and larger items. So the Pomodoro technique reduces burnout by giving your brain a rest. Because these sessions are so short and your breaks are so frequent, you can give yourself the rest you need between studying complex topics. Make sure you are enjoying yourself during these regular breaks. Grab a snack, a stretch, or even just meditate. You are making burnout less likely while still being able to keep up with all of your obligations. By breaking your focus after each of these sessions, you are making sure not to strain your brain. You'll be able to avoid the fatigue of long study hours and recuperate much faster. The longer breaks allow you to rest fully and take your mind off your studies. Using the Pomodoro technique for studying regulates these cycles and trains your brain to maximize your focus on a single task so you can get it done quicker. The Pomodoro technique aids in time management. Chunking your task is an excellent time management strategy. These 25-minute intervals of focus, within these 25-minute intervals of focus, you can easily schedule precisely what you need to accomplish. Focus intervals can be used as planned. The focus intervals can be used and planned as specifically as you need. Plan to study specific topics using particular activities. If you run out of study activities to try, you can always download my free study planner and activity tracker. Before you sit down for your revision session, schedule exactly what tasks you will accomplish in each focus interval. You can work on or edit your drafts for assignments. You can answer questions or even draw diagrams. Switch up your study activities between each period. This will keep your brain engaged by keeping it interested in varying activities rather than doing the same thing repeatedly. Since your breaks require you to step away from the material anyways, use them to do simple tasks like brushing your teeth or making your lunch. Despite the short breaks, these trips away from your desk are always beneficial during the study period. Because you're getting away from your desk, you are able to disconnect from the study period briefly so that you can turn your attention elsewhere and really recuperate some of the thought process, some of the brain space so you can rest your brain. I like to do chores that I hate during these 5-minute breaks. I often do laundry or tackle a mess that I've been avoiding. These messes can be anything from cleaning the bathroom to the microwave. While it usually takes longer than 5 minutes to complete these tasks, there are several benefits. First, it means I only have to commit to it for 5 minutes. I can handle that. I get to take a break from those undesired tasks frequently, and it really puts my avoidance of studying into perspective. So what do I hate more? Do I hate studying more? Do I not want to study more? Or do I not want to clean the microwave more? I get out of my seat and I get to move around, which gets my blood pumping and energizes me for when I return. All of that blood rushes oxygen to your brain. This will give you lots of extra energy to work with, so you feel refreshed when you return to your seat. When you use the Pomodoro technique for studying, it increases productivity. Because you only have to stay productive for a short 25-minute interval, you can go all in on effort. Push yourself to be intensely productive for those 25 minutes. This is not a long time to keep up the momentum. Maintaining this deep focus and efficiency over multiple intervals will allow you to keep up with the high output level for a much extended period of time. Being conscious and planning your endeavors for each study period can help optimize your energy by expending it optimally. Focusing on a single task lets you complete that task faster because you're less likely to make mistakes. You also finish faster because you're devoting your entire focus to it. rather than splitting and trying to multitask. Multitasking is a myth and only divides your energy and draws out each project. You can't multitask effectively. There's just no such thing. Your brain can only function effectively on one task at a time. Ooh, I'm getting tongue-tied. When you try to multitask, you are more prone to making mistakes, losing your place, and backtracking or missing out on critical elements altogether. By simply focusing on a single task, you will complete it to a higher quality in less time. Doing this will allow you to move on to the next job in less time, ultimately finishing all tasks more efficiently. Using the Pomodoro Technique timer improves planning. Planning what you're going to do over 25 minutes is much simpler than assigning tasks for 2 hours. Breaking down your goals into 25-minute tasks rather than scheduling those throughout Pomodoro sessions is a great way to make substantial progress towards completion. Once you're comfortable, planning out 25-minute chunks will be easy to start planning days and weeks or even months. Planning this way makes you more conscious of your time and how it's wasted. Seeing how you can fit tasks into blocks of time will help you to optimize your schedule. Using the Pomodoro Technique does not have to be limited to your study session either. You can use it to do anything from chores around the house to running errands. Break up your to-do list into tasks ranging from 5 to 25 minutes. Then use the Pomodoro timer to signal when it is time to end one project and move on to another. This habit will help you to stay on top of your responsibilities. Rather than wait until something is messy, spend 5 minutes tidying and decluttering daily, regardless of how dirty an area is. This can be done between the focus intervals. So again, this is just a way to break up different projects so that you are blocking and chunking and splitting up your time effectively over the day so that you are spending more time so essentially you're spending less time getting what you need to get done because you're focusing on it more efficiently rather than just kind of haphazardly doing things. And it gives you structured time to really focus on that to-do list. So the Pomodoro Technique can also increase motivation. Once you see how much you can accomplish in 25 minutes, it's easy to feel self-satisfaction and accomplishment. This wonderful feeling will propel you to do and accomplish more and more over scheduled blocks. Racing yourself over these periods can help you to break your own records and achieve what you need quicker than you'd ever imagined. This is you reclaiming your potential, leading you to untapped motivation. Your goals will start getting crossed off with time to spare, and you'll feel driven to complete more and more. Since the productive intervals are so short, constantly changing and rotating, it's easier to convince yourself to tackle a task you are unmotivated to do. It's much easier to do a task for 5 or 10 minutes than it is for 2 hours. Doing undesired things in short bursts will get you started, and the feeling of accomplishment will carry you through to see that it's done. Combining the Pomodoro Technique with positive reinforcement rewards upon full completion of a task, will boost your motivation even further. Try treating yourself to a snack or an indulgent drink or a skincare session whenever you get to cross something off your list. Soon, you'll find yourself looking forward to these productivity-packed days. Whew, we're getting to the end. The Pomodoro Technique reduces interruptions. So because these intervals are only 25 minutes, they're not very long to prevent intrusive interruptions. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, turn off your computer monitor, and just focus on your work. There are very few things that cannot wait 25 minutes for your attention. You can check your phone, your emails, and any other updates when you're finished. I will admit that when I first started this practice, it was terrifying. I'm a little addicted to my phone, so the idea that I might miss a notification or a text message plagued me during those first few study intervals. However, I did learn to get over this. I realized that my phone is a crutch and an excuse. It's an easy way to self sabotage myself out of maintaining focus and getting my work done. Once I learned that it was okay to unplug and give myself the time I needed to do what I had to do, I could enjoy my breaks and make my me time that much more. Regular use of the Pomodoro technique reduces mental fatigue. The 25-minute focus interval is designed to allow you to maintain intense focus. Stopping and breaking that focus before your brain is exhausted or your mind starts to wander is ideal. Over time, it will train your brain not to do this as often. Over an extended period and multiple Pomodoro sessions, you will not experience the same brain drain that you would from using extended techniques. Compare studying for hours using the Pomodoro technique instead of just sitting in the library like you usually do. Notice the effects the following day. Often you'll have that feeling of a study hangover where your brain is just exhausted. For days after an extended study session, your mind feels drained and you just can't summon the amount of focus you need to really get things done. This generally does not happen when you use the Pomodoro timer. Since you are taking frequent breaks, your brain has the ability to rest before it starts to strain. As you get used to these breaks, your brain will optimize its efficiency in these 25-minute periods and relax more fully during the breaks. You can stack these 2-hour rotations on top of each other effortlessly, allowing you to study all day if you need to. The next day, you can get things done without the groggy mess your brain would then groggy mess your brain without the groggy mess your brain is when it's burnt out and overlooked. Whoa. Okay, so take the breaks as an opportunity to reward yourself. Make sure you reward yourself in the 5-minute breaks between your focus intervals. Reward yourself with a treat, a snack, or a funny video. Nearly anything that you enjoy and that makes you feel good can be used as incentive. Use this time to spoil yourself. This culture of constant productivity can be somewhat misleading. I admit that one of my deepest fears is that I am perceived as pushing the idea that we have to always be happy and healthy and productive. And that's not my intention. That is not the goal behind using the Pomodoro technique either. This form of time management is helped to promote the breaks and not necessarily the focus. The Pomodoro technique is effective because it forces you to step away from your work and take the regular breaks, allowing time to rest. These breaks are a reward for your hard work. Stepping away is a form of self-care, and you can take these breaks. And when you take these breaks, your brain is allowed to refuel, recharge, and reinvigorate itself. Use these breaks as a reward for your brain, thanking it for its hard work during the focus intervals. Creating a link with a tangible reward that you find worthwhile to the rest of your being only. Creating this link with a tangible reward that you find worthwhile to the rest of your being only reinforces this link which helps to increase your motivation. Combining these practices will help you excel and accomplish more in a positive reinforcement cycle. We all lead busy lives and often do not take out the time to reward ourselves. Having these scheduled 5-minute breaks allows you to consistently address your personal needs. Even if you're only using the 5-minute breaks for self-care, you deserve it, and that's what they're meant for. I am a firm believer in the Pomodoro method, and I use it daily. I have an extensive library of guided Pomodoro study sessions to fit any revision needs. Make sure to check out the playlist so you can study with me. Focusing intently on a task to help you finish it. Focusing intently on a task will help you finish it faster, retain the information more reliably, and integrate it into a real life experience more fluidly. This level of intense focus needed to accomplish these tasks is most easily achieved with the Pomodoro Technique and its many benefits. So don't forget to pick up the Pomodoro Planner. It is in that study planner and activity tracker. So you can plan each of your study sessions and ensure that you review the information in various ways. So that's a free study planner. I'm not going to finish plugging that. I already talked about it earlier. It is in the description if you want to check it out. The free study planner and activity tracker. So that is that. I'm so happy that you were sticking with me through my long description of all of the benefits of the Pomodoro Technique. I think that a lot of people hear that it is just a study technique, but they don't necessarily realize that there are so many different benefits to it. But there really are. There are so many different benefits, and there's so many different ways that each benefit kind of commingles and what is the word, commingles and overlaps. So that is incredibly helpful, because again, like the breaks are so incredibly important to be able to to be able to maintain that focus and maintain that that focus and that productivity as you go on. So now comes the time in our day where we work on where we do our goal setting. I'm going to do a little bit of goal setting. You're going to do a little bit of goal setting. We're going to pull out our goal setting workbook. If you don't have this goal setting workbook, this is also available down on the description. It is also free. None of these things cost anything. I'm not trying to shill a whole bunch of stuff. But we're not going to go over the monthly thing. That is something that I do in my membership. But I do that with my members. But what we will do is we will talk about our weekly goals. I'm grabbing my planner. I talk about it so often. You know I have it. It's always with our arm's reach. It's right here. What I do not have is a pen. So let me grab my pen, or all of my pens. I have, how many pens do I have? All of them. Let's pick a color. That is the next big commitment that I have to make, is what color am I planning in next week? Let's do, you know what? I feel like pink is a good color, because we're coming up on spring. It's March. It's my birthday month. Yes, I am an Aries. And we're just going to plan in pink. So let's start by reviewing last week goals. Did I get last week goals done? I did not get them all done. I got a few of them done. I did not get all of them done. Which ones did I not get done? I did not get done my goals around scheduling my second quarter social media posts. So I have to kind of make and plan those out. I'm going to move that on to this week. Why did I? So last week's goals, that was my last week's goals. Was I able to balance the schedule? No, I was not able to balance my schedule in the last week, because I took a lot of time off this past week. And I did that for self-care. I did that because running the Perfect Study Challenge just took a lot out of me. I was exhausted. I was constantly on the go with that challenge. That was a really long and hard challenge for me. And so rather than running myself into the ground and burning out, I just took all of my evenings off. I did not do any work in the evening, and I took an extra long weekend. So I didn't work Monday, and that obviously put me considerably behind. So yes, when I go through and I say, how many was I able to complete? I was able to complete 2 of my goals, and the other 2 I did not complete. And where did you find yourself falling short? I just didn't do them. I just did not do them. I decided to prioritize my downtime over doing my chores. Now, the funny thing is, I did not complete this last week's goals. But if you're one of my members and you saw the monthly goal setting live stream, I did complete February's goals. Like, so I finished February's goals as a whole, but this last week I didn't do it. I actually took some time off. So my big goal for February I completed, but my goals for this past week I did not. And that was it ended up being a choice. It was definitely a conscious choice. I decided that I was just going to focus on what I needed to focus on, and yeah, I decided that if I didn't get it done, I didn't get it done, but I decided that I wanted to take it easier this week. So what worked? Time management, prioritizing and planning out my time. I just still got a lot of things worked, or a lot of things done, but it was a lot of client work that I got done. So I did still work quite a bit. I didn't take the whole week off. I just prioritized a lot of client work over my personal work. And then what went wrong? Nothing went wrong. It was not a bad week. I actually had a really great week. I just consciously chose to really to focus on myself. Was it avoidable? It was a choice. It was a choice. So in that way, yes. And what will you do again? I will definitely look into myself and how much I am working. And if I feel again like I am taking on too much, like my goals for the week are too big, then I will definitely take a back seat, put my goals back seat as well. So for the goals that I had put off, I wanted to kind of start looking up and looking for some of the social medias for quarter two. So because they were goals working on content that was so far away, I decided that they were not, even though they were a priority, they were not a crushing priority. And so that I could refocus the time that I would have assigned to them. I wouldn't do anything differently this week. This week was a great week. So now let's talk about our top goals for next week. So I think that I am actually going to take my goals from this week and I'm just going to transfer them for next week. So in that, I'm going to start planning out those socials. I do want to focus on planning out those socials and at least researching them. Social media gives me so much anxiety. And even though I do handle a lot of social media for myself and for some of the companies that I run. If you don't know, I do have another business. And then my general consulting clients, I do a lot of consulting, like business consulting as well. And so for those clients, I run a lot of their socials. So having a social media plan is a must for me in order to kind of subside my anxiety. So now we're coming up on quarter two. I like to kind of have a rough outline for each company, what quarter two is going to look like. So that is where we're going with that. So that is going back on my list for this next week. I do love some jelly rolls. If you follow me, you know one of my passions is stationery. I could talk about stationery for like 6 hours. Like if you think I could go in on the Pomodoro technique, stationery, that's a whole other beast. Okay, so that, and again, planning out those campaigns for, I know, I bet you thought that it's going to be something totally different. So now again, oh, wait here. Let me finish train of thought number one, something shiny. And then now I need to schedule out my live events for Q2 as well. So my Q2 live events. Now, if you didn't know, I also post all of my lives. I post them super, super far out. So you can always check the events tab on my website, absolutelystudying.com, for an update on all of the live events, because I don't necessarily, for the ones that are on YouTube, I don't necessarily post them days and weeks in advance. So they're up days and weeks in advance on the website, but I actually put them live. For the ones that are on YouTube, I put them live usually a little while before, like the day before, or a couple hours before I actually go live. Even though you can see them, you know, weeks ahead of time on the events tab. On the events tab, you will also see the members only lives, and which are scheduled on there, so that you know when those are coming up and if you have any interest in those, as well as any lives that I do other places. So sometimes I do workshops, and so those will be up as well, whether they're lives or if they are eventually available for a replay, or if I am. Sometimes I do like a limited series where I am streaming. I like streaming. The Sims is one game I love streaming. I haven't been doing it because it is giving me glitches on my console. Um, I will not be part of the console versus PC gaming argument. I do both. I love both. And that is a non-winning or winnable argument. So if you want to see if I have I'd love to do another limited series, because The Sims just released High School and I played it. I did play it. I wanted to stream it, but like I said, I've been having some trouble with the console with the new update that they did. But sometimes I do like doing limited series on console and stuff like that, just because I think it's fun. I think it's the Sims is one of those games because it's literally a simulation. It's literally a simulation of life. So that I can, as my Sims are playing, I can actually encounter some situations that you wouldn't necessarily encounter while we're just talking or while I'm just reading an article and stuff like that. So I do enjoy having that as a jumping off point. So I will sit there and I will chat about I will play and chat and answer questions and do some live coaching with people who hop on the stream. So anyways, that is something else that I do sometimes. And so all of those are also listed in the event. So I need to schedule my Q2 live events and see what we're going to do there. Okay, so what do we have? What do we have? My top goals for next week. Did that. How are these goals going to help you big picture? They're going to help me with my content, and my content helps me connect with you. So that is exactly how they help me. How will you reward yourself if you meet these expectations? Okay, so last month I was supposed to purchase myself a new laptop holder. I am very excited about getting a new laptop stand for my desk. I am slowly remodeling my desk, and the new laptop stand was going to be my thing for getting me achieving my monthly goals. However, I ended up not getting it for myself. I ended up instead going to Bath and Body Works and buying like great big bath sheets and a new like bath mat and everything. So that was lovely. And anyways, I ended up doing that Instead, same value, but I decided that that's what I wanted in the day. And so completely changed. So I still want my laptop holder. And so I will be moving that reward to this month. Alrighty, so now if you are doing your goal setting at home, make sure that you do fill out all of these tasks with due dates. If you need to, if you want to break down your goals, I actually do mine where I set my monthly goals and then all of my weekly goals are based off of accomplishing my monthly goals. Sometimes I add some extras in there, but that's generally how I do it. So that is all for today. It was a long, we've been streaming for an hour. Like it's been going on for an hour. I thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me this long. I very much enjoyed your company. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and I will see you next week. So in the meantime, make sure you do all of the YouTube things like this video and subscribe to my channel. We are here every week. And the podcast will be starting soon. I just with the February challenge, I had to make a choice and I chose my not to burn myself out. So we pushed that back as much as I didn't want to. We did push it back. And me and the team will have to revisit that in the future. So we'll probably in the next few months, I do definitely want it to launch over the summer and definitely in time for the fall semester. So we'll see where we go. Okay. Until next week, I hope you have an amazing adventure.